In a small town, there lived a boy named Rohan. He was intelligent, hardworking, and full of big dreams. However, he had one habit that often created problems for him. He talked too much. Whenever he learned something new, he couldn't resist sharing it with everyone. Whether it was about his studies, ambitions, or personal goals, Rohan always announced his plans, believing that talking about them would keep him motivated. He also enjoyed the attention and praise he received from others. His friends admired his ideas, his family felt proud of his ambition, and his teachers encouraged him. But despite all his big talks, Rohan struggled to achieve success. One day, he met a wise old man named Guruji at the town's temple. Guruji had seen Rohan many times, always speaking about his future. That day, Guruji called him over and asked, "Son, you always talk about your dreams, but have you achieved them yet?" Rohan hesitated. He had set many goals, but had accomplished very little. He replied, "Guruji, I try my best, but things don't go as planned." Guruji smiled and said, "Let me tell you a story that will help you understand why." The Farmer's Secret. Long ago, in a small village, there was a hard-working farmer named Dev. He was poor but determined to change his life. His dream was to own a large farm filled with crops. Every day he worked tirelessly, saving every penny he could. But there was one thing he never did. He never spoke about his plans to anyone. The villagers often asked him, "Dev, why do you work so hard? What are you saving for?" But he would only smile and say, "You'll see when the time is right." Years passed. Slowly, Dev bought small pieces of land, planted crops, and expanded his farm. Eventually, he built a beautiful house and became one of the most successful farmers in the village. The villagers were amazed. They couldn't believe how he had achieved so much without ever boasting about it. One day, an old friend visited him and asked, "Why didn't you ever tell anyone about your plans?" Dev smiled and replied, "Because when you talk too much about your dreams, two things happen. First, people discourage you. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. Second, when you speak about your goals, your mind feels as if you've already accomplished something, and you lose the motivation to actually work for it. Silence protects your dreams. Words are like arrows. Once released, they cannot return. I chose to let my success speak instead." A life-changing lesson. Hearing this story, Rohan was deep in thought. Guruji continued, "Son, when you share your goals too much, two things happen. First, not everyone will be happy for you. Some will discourage you, while others may even try to stop you. Second, the excitement you feel about your goal fades when you talk about it too much. Your mind tricks you into believing that you've already achieved something, and you lose the drive to work for it." Rohan now understood why he had been failing. He had been spending too much time talking and too little time acting. He looked at Guruji and asked, "Can I still change myself?" Guruji smiled and said, "Of course, from today, speak less and act more. Let your success make the noise, not your words. Remember, silence is powerful." Rohan's transformation. From that day on, Rohan changed his ways. He stopped discussing his plans with everyone and focused on taking action. He studied harder, worked towards his dreams in silence, and avoided unnecessary conversations. Months passed, and he began to see the difference. He was achieving more, his confidence grew, and he no longer needed external validation. When the final exam results were announced, Rohan had topped the school. Everyone was surprised by his transformation. His friends asked, "How did you do it?" Rohan just smiled, remembering Guruji's words, "Be silent and achieve everything." Years later, Rohan became a successful entrepreneur, inspiring many with his story. He proved that true success doesn't come from talking, it comes from taking action. Sometimes silence is the most powerful tool. Speak less, work more, and let your success do the talking.